Ever since back in 1949, when the LEGO Group released their first plastic brick building sets, they've steadily made their way to become the #1 toy company in the entire world. So let's take a look back at some of the most iconic forgotten LEGO themes and find out why now they all seem to be making a comeback. From new sets to 2025 leaks and news, this is going to be a real nostalgia trip, so
strap yourselves in.
Also, if you want to win a free copy of the Dungeons and Dragons Red Castle or the LEGO Icons Medieval Town Square, then stick with me. First up on this list is LEGO Exo Force, an original LEGO theme that first released back in 2006. It took inspiration from popular Japanese anime shows like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was actually the first ever LEGO theme to focus on mecha, or robotic machines being controlled by humans. The story of Exo Force centered around Sentai Mountain, a peaceful civilization where humans and robots lived in harmony, until a golden robot named Mecha 1 leads an uprising and starts a war. There were 3 waves of Exo Force sets in total, and I distinctly remember building set 7708, the Uplink, which was a smaller orange mech that could transform into a speeder bike and also came with a really cool Ryu minifigure who had spiky purple hair. Unfortunately, after a popular first wave of sets, sales began to die down, and this led to LEGO's decision to cancel the theme for good. But it's pretty clear that we can see a lot of influence from Exo Force in one of LEGO's biggest themes today, Ninjago. From the sets to the overall story, it's like Ninjago got the full package, whereas Exo Force was just a little ahead of its time. And LEGO even seems to recognize this themselves, because they have included a 2024 tribute to Exo Force inside the LEGO City World Robot theme park, which includes a 2006 modernized stealth hunter build. Next up is the longest running theme on this list, LEGO Castle, which first released back in 1978 with the first ever set, the Yellow Castle. Now, I got into Castle with sub-themes in the early 2000s, but there is a long history of faction-based waves, from the Black Falcons to the Dragon Masters, and so any older LEGO fans out there that know a little bit about vintage LEGO Castle, your knowledge would be appreciated down in those comments. But we are actually going to jump in at the Knights Kingdom 2 sub-theme, which launched in 2006 and saw a total of 60 sets released. And they were all set in the fictional kingdom of Morcia, where the king, Jaco the Blue Knight, went up against the evil villain Vladek. Along with regular playsets, LEGO also released some larger posable action figure style buildable characters that were sold inside canister boxes. I remember owning a couple of these and they were a lot of fun for dueling. But the castle theme didn't stop there, because in 2007 there was a brief fantasy era of sets, and then in 2010 it went back to faction-based warfare before this kind of fantasy and faction warfare was combined together into the final LEGO Castle theme in 2014. And like many themes on this list, LEGO Castle actually saw a recent return during LEGO's 90th anniversary, where a fan vote resulted in set 10305, the Lion Knights Castle. And while giant sets like the Lion Knights Castle, Barad-dûr, and the UCS Venator are some of the best LEGO sets available right now, they're simply way out of budget for most of us, which is why today's sponsor, The Brick News, offers monthly giveaways and build competitions for these giant adult collector sets. And for the rest of August, they're giving away both the Dungeons and Dragons Red Dragon Castle and the LEGO Icons Medieval Town Square. The best part is that entry is international, but also that it costs just $3 to enter, the same price as a cup of coffee. And it's all run completely fairly, with the entry limited to 1 per person, meaning that you have an equal chance of winning. You can enter for yourself down at the links in the description, but signing up really helps to support me to continue making LEGO content. Moving on to one of the most popular and complicated themes now, with LEGO Bionicle, which launched in 2001 and lasted all the way up until 2010. So Bionicle is actually short for Biological Chronicle and was based around the inclusion of Technic pieces and a unique new building style. Because back in the late 90s, LEGO was having big money trouble, and they decided that they needed a strong, original storyline. They hoped that this would make their sets appeal to a broader audience, and their first attempt, LEGO Star Wars, was an instant success. But due to huge licensing fees going to Lucasfilm, this actually cost LEGO dearly. And they needed something of their own, which meant that Bionicle was born, drawing influence from some of their past themes like Slicers. Now, the storyline kind of deserves an entire video on its own, but it is all centered around a race known as the Toa, who wash ashore in canisters on the island of Mata Nui. They then begin their search for the sacred masks of life and face off against the evil spirit Makuta. The more complex build style and the lore behind these sets made made them very popular, and all of this hard work paid off for LEGO, with Bionicle actually being credited as saving the company from its financial issues. I remember collecting a lot of the canister sets growing up. Takanuva was probably my favourite, with the second shiny mask, and so over 9 years they would branch out and release Bionicle playsets, and even a number of different sub-themes. But after 94 sets in 2010, the theme was discontinued. The lore had got more and more complicated. LEGO had kind of tried to age Bionicle with its fan base, which just ended up alienating some of the newer and younger fans. Next up, we have LEGO Lord of the Rings, which only released between 2012 and 2014. Anyone who watches the channel will know how much of a fan of Middle-earth I am. The books, the movies, and the LEGO sets too. But the LEGO group did not release the first sets until 2012, almost 10 years after the movies. Now, despite this, the 20 or so sets that they did release have become very popular and demand a pretty premium price point in today's money. The Battle for Helm's Deep is a really good example of this, but even a $10 set like Gandalf Arrives is now retailing for close to $100. And while other themes like Star Wars have continuously had new content releasing, Lord of the Rings had no future in sight. That was until the Hobbit movies, where we saw just 14 playsets released. Most of them were really quite messy and just failed to capture Middle-earth, with an exception being the Lonely Mountain, which was a real standout thanks to its play features and all the details that were packed into the build. It also came with the best LEGO dragon ever made in Smaug the Mighty, along with 5 exclusive and really high quality minifigures. Now, I actually have a full breakdown of why these LEGO Hobbit sets marked the end of the Lord of the Rings theme, and you can check that all out in this video here, because in 2014 the theme was cancelled and many believed that it was gone for good. Which is why in 2023 LEGO shocked us with its LEGO Icons Rivendell set. And then in 2024 they took things a step further by giving us the Dark Tower Barad-dûr and even hinting at a possible future Minas Tirith or Hobbiton set. So it's safe to say that the future is bright for LEGO Lord of the Rings, and if you want to find out more all about that, then you can check out these updates here. Next up, we are taking a trip back in time again with LEGO Adventurers. Adventurers released between 1998 and 2003 and had 4 sub-themes, including Egypt, Jungle, and Dino Island. They all focused on the iconic main character of Johnny Thunder, an intrepid explorer who went up against villains like Baron von Barron and Sam Sinister. One of the first LEGO sets I ever built was set 5987, the Dino Research Compound, but despite the theme's broad appeal, it was actually discontinued in 2003 due to dropping sales and the success of some of the recent IP themes. But like most of the other themes on this list, LEGO Adventurers is back in 2024 with a full summer wave of jungle sets, including the return of Johnny Thunder. Next up, we have LEGO Vikings, the shortest lived theme on this list, which was introduced in 2005 and only lasted until 2007. In total, there were just 7 sets released, but these could be some of the coolest LEGO sets ever made, from near perfect army builders like the army of Vikings with heavy artillery to the Viking fortress against the Fafnir dragon. And because now as an adult I'm a big fan of the Viking shows, The Last Kingdom, Vikings Valhalla, and also Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, these sets are some of the most nostalgic LEGO sets for me. And like with a lot of these classic discontinued themes, LEGO Vikings saw an iconic tribute return in 2023 with the LEGO Vikings Village. Now, there are countless other LEGO themes that I just wasn't able to include here, but I think it's very interesting to see almost every single spot on this list returning in some form or the other. But let me know which of your favourite LEGO themes I missed out on down in those comments, and if you're new here, then be sure to subscribe for all things LEGO.